Welcome to Commodities, and here we're looking at gold on the weekly chart. Simply pointing out the triangle pattern here that the market's probably moving through. So we have wave D in here now, and we're looking for wave E of 4. So we've got wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 down here. So looking from the weekly chart into the daily chart here, this is what we're looking at here. We're looking at a 61.8 retracement level of this move down through here. It may not be the case because we've got this large block of price activity here, which would carry a lot of volume. So it'd be a target point that the sellers would be there, the people that are holding long at that point there. They will want to exit their long positions here, creating supply here and the resistance. So look, we may not get this high, but let's see how we go. Just breaking this down and looking at this particular trend to the upside here. Right, so in a bit of a nutshell, the reason I've just got this chart here for is I'm just bringing this trend line through here as a possible target point here at sort of around the 1285 area through here, and then we're looking for a pullback, and that pullback basically a correction within group 2, 65, 72 and the 80. So that's what we'll be looking for in wave B. There's a couple of different ways to count this up through here, and that's because, well, one of the reasons is that the bottom here is not very clean as such, so you could take it from here, you could take it from here. So there's a few variations, but the variations are pretty much all the same. What the variations will do is give us a different top in this little area through here. So it's not a big deal, and pretty much our aim was that if the market moved up into group 2, taking out this high of wave 3 here yesterday, then we'd be looking for this higher move, and this seems to be the case. So from this low here, basically we can count this as 1 and 2. We can count this to 3 here, to 4 here, and to 5 here, and there will be 5 waves in this little section here that can take us, well, even higher to the 1285, as I just mentioned here, once we've got support on 1272. This 1272 will come into play. It'll have, well, yeah, look, just keep an eye on it. As this market moves into this space here, you'll see that it becomes a little bit more important. The sort of intraday count up through to here is that you can see that we've got this long, strong wave structure in here. So it's likely this is a little wave 3 into here, a little wave 4 here, and a wave 5 taking us a bit higher through here. So yeah, look, that's that, I guess. You know, pretty sort of simple. This is just a bit of an alternative count here, but just sort of like I mentioned, but this is just counting wave 1 here, wave 2 to here, and this wave 1 can also be to here as well, by the way. When you look at silver, that, you know, it helps us out there a little bit. This doesn't give us a really nice clean 5 wave structure here. It's more like it's in 3, but this one here is like it's in 3 as well. So anyway, 1, 2, this one here is quite clean here in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. A bit of a recurring pattern here, this sideways pattern to this one here, this sharp move sideways, sharp move sideways. So we may get this happening here as well. So we'll see. This is still a building process to the upside here. But the way I sort of figure it is yeah, it'll move higher into wave 3 here, then wave 4 here, and then wave 5 here. This is an alternative count, bring us into the 1285 area through here. Then basically an A and a B and a C through the group 2 area here, and then up to here. Because this is essentially a retest of supply, and there'll be supply coming in here, starting here, and it should have a second chip at it, and you know, up into, I wouldn't just take this with a pinch of salt, really, the 1300 here. Let's just look at the wave structure as it's moving up through here. So look, this does present a buying opportunity back down through here as well. The daily stochastics are coming into the bought area up here, so we have to expect some type of sell-off here as it meets the first level of supply, and yeah, so all good. The copper market, just looking in the bigger picture here, we're pretty much on track here of such, and we're looking at basically we're looking at a 5-wave structure down through here, and we'll look at that in a moment. And we're looking at wave 3, the long wave 3 here, wave 4 and wave 5. So wave 5 should take us just below the 300 here. It may do, it may not. It seems to say that it will, and we'll drill into that in a moment. So, 1285, 1295, so somewhere in this area here. Because we've got 5 waves here, then we'll be looking for an A and a B and a C bounce here. That may come back and test this trend line even, but we'll monitor that as well. But once that's done, we'll see further moves down. Because we've basically got 3 waves here, that means that eventually we'll take these lows out here. Now, this is a pretty important situation for the materials sector, because it's this copper market is a bit central to most of the other metals as well. So it's it's going to weigh a fair whack on on commodity countries as such. Anyway, just drilling into here. This is what we've been doing here. As the wave 1, the wave 2, long wave 3. We confirmed this was corrective here as a wave 4, so we'll be looking for wave 5, taking out this the low here. And as you can see here, we'll be looking for 5 waves down here, and we have wave 1 and 2 here, and we're in the 3rd one already. So how far it actually comes down is a bit of a guessing game, because we're working with a large number here, and large numbers attract larger orders, so it can skew things a little. But in looking at it in this way here, we're from wave 4 here coming down, we can see we've got a clean wave 1 down here. Wave 2 I've got here, but it could also be here as well. It's not like it's a big difference at this stage. We can see wave 3 coming down through here. So wave 3 is likely to find support pretty much back onto this area through here. And if I can move this wave 4 back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, probably in the 302 area here, and then another little move down through here. So it may get a bit squashy down here. Let's just let it unravel. It's not not a great interest. The daily stochastics is being oversold into this area through here. So we are looking for this final little low into this area here somewhere, and then a stronger bounce back up, because we need to be correcting this whole move down. So the whole move down will be all of this here. So we'll see a sort of a sharp move back, and we'll just monitor this as well here. This will give the BHPs of the world an opportunity to recover somewhat, but we need to be mindful that it's just that, it's a corrective rally. So further downside would be so we'll be looking to short stock into this next leg through here, because it will also be a wave 3, because we've got wave 1 down here, 5 waves. So we can call this wave 2 here and a wave 3 down, and also looking to take out the 290 low from over here. So we'll be looking down much further than if I pull this up here and bring this down through here. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so down into this sort of area through here we'll be looking. So quite an impact, really. Alrighty, the oil market. Bit colourful here. Sorry about that. This is the weekly chart, and the light coloured this particular aqua blue here is just an alternative count, and it because in a bit of a nutshell, this what we're looking for here is basically this down as wave 1, back for wave 2 here, and down for wave 3. But I really dislike calling markets like that when I can see that it's basically that this is all corrective across here, and we're sitting on 100. So according to the trading levels, is that this market is pushing higher. Now we were looking at a double top in here, that double top, as Gann would say, they're never the end of a bull campaign. And also we've got this triple top here, and Gann would say that it's normally the fourth time that something is tested that it will move through. So I see this high here being taken out, which would take this particular count that we've got on our website out of the picture, but we'll leave it there until it's out of the picture. But I do want to bring in this other particular pattern here, which is quite simply a triangle looking pattern, which would be the A, the B, the C, the D, and the E here, and then pushing further up into this area here. That's why we're trading ROC, and I'm personally holding WPL through its correction that it's in at the moment. But OSH and those are all looking pretty chirpy, and they should continue to look pretty chirpy as well. And while this market is above 100, then I'll just naturally stay on the positive side of it. Anyway, that's enough raving on there. I could have called this on the daily chart here a triple top as well, but really this leg here is all part of the same leg, so it's really just a double top. So we'll call it that on the daily. Now the levels here are basically 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 here. The halfway between 5 and 8 is 650. That's where the current high is, so that's important as well. We can see that this was the resistance. So the resistance normally comes the support. So I would normally say that this will come back and retest, support, and then move off from that point there. However, when you do get a large pattern, that's accumulated, over a long period of time like this, sometimes they don't come back and test the level. They've got a lot of accumulation there. They're attracting new interest, and the distribution hasn't even really started. So the selling. So this can be like a spring here and just pushing higher here. So, above the 105 really sets the target at 110. 8 is a profit-taking number, so we'll see, profit-taking coming in at that particular point there as well. Just counting this up through here, it is possible. I've got it here as a 1 and 2 in here, and a 3 to here, and a 4 to here, and a 5 up to here a bit further, and we can look at that in a moment. But there is also the case that this is being really strong here. So there's a case that this is the third wave up here that would make this here, if I can just move that, make this the third wave, and this just the wave 1 here. But I just want to take it in a conservative manner first, and that would be looking at it like this here. And if this was 5 waves up into closer to the 107 mark here, because this little structure up here is not completed, then it would look something like this here. So I'm just got this as an alternative count. So looking for a new high into this area here, and then an AB. So because we've got 5 waves up there, after five waves, you get an A and a B and a C. This is where we'd get the retest of 5 if that was going to be the case, and then would move up from that point. The other situation is that a nice solid support on 106.50, which is the halfway mark between these two. I call it 65 number. That would, set the target at, 107 is important, but 107.20 is important as well. But essentially this market is looking at 108. The gas market, always a tricky one to follow, but the 61.8 retracement level from this move back into the 450 has held and made a new high here. So we're looking at going long on 472, even it's 474 now, but that was 472 is part of group 2. So group 2 is 65, 72 and 80. And because this here is the corrective pattern that we've been looking at on the daily at least, then we'll be making new highs above here. So the target's $5, but it would make higher highs than that as well. So long trade here. The soybean market is, pretty much on track of what we're doing. So just going back over the count from the top here a little bit, we're looking 5 waves down for 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2, and then we've been looking for wave 3 to come down. Wave 3 we've been counting as 1, 2, 3 here because we've got little 5 waves in here that we've been counting. We looked at the wave 4, we traced it back into 1470, moved a bit higher, panicked a little bit, not too much because the 72 didn't become the support. The wave 5 down here, as you can see, it's got an extension in it in this wave here, so it's moved a little bit quicker than I thought it would. However, it's still intact. So from wave 4 here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Look, in a nutshell, we're looking for support on on 1400 here, which would give us this wave 4 here. So we're looking for wave 3 into here and wave 4 to here, then wave 5 down. Now, this little move down through here, we need to take a sort of a closer look at that, and this is it here. So from the wave 4 here, we can count this down as wave 1 and wave 2 and wave 3 and wave 4 here, and then the extension in wave 5, which pretty much, I haven't pulled this apart, but I can see that's the third wave in here, so it's slowing down. So there will be the low in here somewhere. So we do have these 5 waves here, and they're all fine, but we also need to look at this too in an alternative count, in terms that if I can squash this up a little bit, it's still keeping the 1 and 2 here, but we may have to move this, just move that out the way for a second and move this out the way here, then put, if we're getting an extension in the third wave, then I'd have to put wave 1 and 2 here, I'd have to put 3 here, I'd have to put 4 back into here somewhere, and then I'd have to put, just move these out of the way, then wave 5 into here, but that would just be wave 3 then, do you know what I mean? And then we'll put wave 4 here back to here, and then wave 5 down of wave 5 of the third here. So it may get a little bit more, this extension may just expand a little bit further. So we need to take both of those counts on. So just bear that in mind, and we'll revisit this. But one of the main points here is that either way, expect a bounce off these current lows here, a bounce back up, and then down again as well. Right, the wheat market. Right, we're looking at 580. But once again, I was just looking at sort of a bit more of an extension to the downside here, in terms from wave 4 here is 1, 2, and looking at all of this here as wave 3 here in 5 waves. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, a bounce off 580 anyway, back to the wave 4, 1 lesser degree, so 590, 585, somewhere in here. And look, maybe even a retest of the 600, but we'll see. And then wave 5 down. So once we've got this wave 5 here, then we'll look at which can come down to the 572 area within group 2. Then we can have a look at a bounce back to the 600 here. So we're looking at some sort of retest back into this area through here. Right. The corn market, much the same as wheat really, but what I wanted to point out here is that the moves, if I just open this up here a little bit here, just wanted to point out that this particular, on the daily here, this particular volume bar here, we had volume here pushing it down, but this one here is on lower volume, so we are seeing it drying up a little bit here. We'll see. We know that the weekly stochastics is oversold into this point here as well. So we know our target was at 440 here. So covering shorts at 440 or bringing the stop down, to wherever you think. But I think taking the money at 440 was the go. The coffee market, there's no change here. I won't go back over it all, but basically we're looking for support on 72, which looking for tested support on 172, and then we can go long from that stage there. So just sort of wait for that. And support is testing, you know, so it's a move up, then testing back, and then you got your reference point, and you can go from that point there, or you can take these reference points. But these really aren't reference points just yet because it hasn't gotten up there, and it's the retest that's important, this little sucker here. And then, you know, anyway, you know the story. The sugar market, it's falling out of Group 2. Group 2 is 65, 72 and 80. It's not out there yet, but I expect it to be. And then down into 1650, the medium level here, for a stronger consolidation and probably a bounce here as well. Once again, the weekly is moving into the oversold position. So we'll see how that goes at that point there. We won't short coming into this number. If the 1650 at some stage and it has a bounce and consolidates around the 1650 and then finds it as resistance, then we'll look to short from that point there, and we'll be looking down from 1650 down to $15 at that point. The orange juice, no real change as well. We're considering the wave 4 coming back into, well, basically where it is at the moment, and we just need to wait for this to unfold here. I thought that this may have been, you know, after a strong move like this, it takes a bit of consolidation. So, you know, it can still come down even lower to the 160 there. We don't want to see it 160 as the resistance, because then we'll have a bear market in at that stage. So, as it stands, we'll just watch for further development here, and we should be looking for a move up into the 168, 170 area from there. Alrighty, that's it. US dollar, just have a quick look at that. It's not labelled, I know that, not a lot of change. The market would have to come down and take these lows out here for it to be a bearish market as such. Because if this is 5 waves up through here, then this low here would need to be taken out. But that still wouldn't give us a big bearish picture. It would still give us an A and a B and a C down to this point here. So it's really only when, you know, this 80 here becomes the retested resistance as such here, and does that kind of thing, then would be in a bearish mode at that point. But as it stands, yes, it's a bit softer, and we're sort of looking for a top up here. It was our target and so forth, but we need confirmation on that. I don't have 5 waves down here either yet, so it's still, you know, above the 80-50. It's still up there. It hasn't changed. So that's that. All right. Cheers.